Hi there. This is another episode of Treasure Valley NIA Quick Tips. What they're about is I'm a franchise owner of a networking action franchise. They're out of Houston, Texas. I bought it 6.5 years ago, and I lead up 3 groups here in the Valley, and they're just local business owners and professionals that are experts in their field. And that's the way I bump into a lot of experts in their field, and I bring them on to share their expertise with the audience. So today is a perfect example. Maya, introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Maya. I'm owner of a private tutoring company in Boise, Meridian Eagle called Maya's Tutoring. Um, I've been in business for about 3.5 years here, and yeah, I absolutely love what I do, and I love the impact that we have on our students and community as a whole.
No, I love that. I love the fact that right here in the Treasure Valley, you guys are growing, continue adding new students. That means you're doing something right, and also tutors. So, what inspired you to start the company?
Yeah, so I guess a little bit of a backstory. I After I graduated from college, I moved out to Boise in 2021, and I wanted to teach English, travel abroad and teach English. And I started getting into tutoring, a little bit of volunteering to get my foot in the door. And I worked at Hawthorne Elementary as a tutor there,
Hmm.
a Title I tutor, so a para. And I was doing tutoring on the side and making, frankly, like a lot more, 3 or 4 times as much. Uh, and I love doing business in general. So after a year of working there, I decided to start my own tutoring company and grow it. And a year into the business, I got my first employee, Matt. He's absolutely wonderful. He's getting his PhD right now in mechanical
Wow.
engineering. Super smart guy. And um, now we have 7 tutors with us, and I want to continue growing the business until I can either sell it or make it passive income, and then teach abroad and do the Peace Corps as well. But I
Cool.
think with there's a lot of opportunity in Boise, a lot of people coming in from all over, California, Washington, these states, and they care about their kids' education, and there aren't a lot of private tutoring companies out here, so right now is the perfect time to do it.
And let me guess, Matt was it his name, the engineer, first
Hmm.
tutor? Does he teach
Yeah,
math?
he does. Yes, yes.
It's like
Yeah,
my dad and my brother are both engineers, so and they're really good at math. I'm like, I bet he teaches math.
yo,
They
he's
used to
he's
tutor
insane
me.
at it. He does stuff that
Yeah.
I just don't even. He tries to explain to me. He's doing um his PhD is on uh he's studying how the bubbles inside a nuclear reactor, like the the different sizes or consistencies of the bubble, how they can show what like what's going on with the nuclear reactor. If it's too big, it could explode essentially. I mean, that's how he explained it to me,
Wow.
but it's way over my head. I'm probably totally messed. Probably
No,
wrong.
no, no. That's awesome. So hey,
Yeah,
yeah. So I mean, how long do you say you've been doing it?
3.5 years. I would say two and a
Okay,
half
so
years
okay,
within
so what keeps you
Boise.
motivated?
What keeps me motivated is I think we can really have a huge impact on the people out here in the community as a whole. Um, Personally, I love what I do. I love running business, but also there's just so many kids out here that need help. Um, and like I said, I want to have a big impact before I leave or do something else. A big goal that I have in mind, hopefully in the next year, I'm hoping at the beginning of next year, is I want to do free tutoring for low-income students. So after school, we can set up high school or college students to come in and tutor the kids for an hour or two with homework or whatever it is. And I really want to do that because, you know, tutoring it costs a lot of money, and as I'm getting more into this business, I just makes me kind of sad that we leave out a lot of kids that need it the most. And the kids, the low income families that don't have the money are the ones that usually need the most support.
Right.
I believe this should be free, but it isn't, unfortunately. So I'd like to do that, before we do something else. So that's been really driving me recently.
No,
So we
I
can
you
continue
mentioned
growing.
that before, And I tell you, I love that because that's, I mean, it's just giving back. You know what I mean? Here in the Valley, I like that, you know, because we're all in business to make money. Once you get to a certain point, you can start giving back. You know, you know, why not? You know what I mean? Especially here in the Treasure Valley, you've got such a bunch of good people.
Totally. And what's cool with tutoring is, you can have such a big impact on these kids, like one on one. My tutors they're very compassionate, and we're about being more than just tutors. Like we're like mentors to these kids. You can teach
Right.
them a lot of life lessons that'll carry, for forever. Like think about your, favorite teacher growing up. Like you don't remember them for, how good they taught.
Yeah.
You remember
Yeah.
them for being, caring about you,
Yeah.
for teaching you, that you can be successful. And what's cool is these kids come from struggling in math or whatever subject, and they feel they're down on themselves, they feel stupid, and then they think they're just stupid in general. But we can teach them that, you know, with a guiding hand, you can go from struggling to succeeding in that subject, and you can do this in anything in life. And that's what we're about with our companies
Well,
is building that success and you know changing their lives more than just school.
no, I love that. I love that. So what do you think, what like a big mistake parents or students are making about their education or academic support?
Yeah, we started doing a seminar about this as well on how to motivate your kids in school to
Okay.
study, get homework done. We noticed that a lot of parents oftentimes will try to support their kids and make them get work done by disciplining them in
Okay.
negative ways. They might not realize it's negative, but
Yeah.
uh, a lot of times parents will take away their video games or
Yep.
phone or uh, get grounded for having failing a test. But these kids already know, they already feel like shit from
Yep.
failing on the test, and to take away more stuff is just demotivating to them. So a better approach really is to motivate them and with positive reinforcements, to give rewards or make goals with the kids. So, if you get your homework, like you can start small. You if they failed on the test, they're not getting homework done. Okay, let's catch up on four missing assignments. Once you get those four done, you'll get ice cream with the kid.
Yeah. Yep.
And a long-term
Love
goal.
it.
If you get a C or B, then
Yep.
you know, whatever the kid might want, this present, or you can even just give them money. It works really
Yeah.
well.
No, no.
It works
I
really
know. I
well.
love that. You know, I love that because I have kids and it's the same thing as is that,
Mhm.
you know, by default, sometimes you do the negative reinforcement where
Mhm.
there's been times when they wanted something and you tell them it could be school or outside of school, but you tell them and man, they work really, really hard for
Mhm.
the positive reinforcement part, you know? So it's like, that makes total
Yeah.
sense.
A good
It's,
tutor friend of mine, Tony Pori, he's been tutoring here for over 20 years. He's incredible at what he does. And unfortunately, he's fully booked, so yeah, you
yeah,
can't start with him. Um, but the next level of the positive reinforcement is not just material things, but internal. Like at the end of the day, the kids just want to hear that they're proud of, the parents are very proud of you, and you know, uh, showing that with words, getting that I guess I can't think of another word, reinforcement, to show that you really truly care. When you get an A on a test or you start making progress, like you just tell them, I'm so proud of how hard you've been working. It's, amazing what you're doing right now. And so they want that love.
yeah.
And sometimes parents don't realize they're not giving it to them.
No, no,
And
I love that.
that
And
they
you know,
want that approval.
yeah, and tell them that more than once and give them a hug. You know what I mean? And just
Hmm.
say, hey, I'm so proud of you for doing a good job. You know, and yeah, I mean, I love that.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense because again, looking back at me as a kid, I mean, I did a lot better with positive reinforcement. You know, that motivated me the most. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's like, um, what you said there's not a lot here, but they're all in the United States probably, the world. So what makes your company different?
Yeah. Like I said, our tutors are more than just tutors. We're like
Yeah.
mentors to the kids. Our ultimate goal, not just with is not just to help them academically, but it's to boost their confidence in themselves and
Yeah.
prove that they can succeed in anything in life. And all of our tutors are very compassionate people. They have a growth mindset, that they're growing as tutors. They're getting better at what they do, but they're also teaching that to the kids. And then, they adapt to what the kids need. There's other tutoring companies out here. Like the one-on-one private tutoring is the best way to go, in my opinion. But other companies like Huntington or Mathnasium, they have multiple tutors that will rotate between kids. So one day they'll be working with one tutor, the next day they'll be working with another, and you won't be able to build a good relationship to have that impact. And also the tutors aren't able to learn the way the kids learn best.
Right.
So as far as private tutoring companies to those companies, you know, that's how we're different. And that's my main focus with it. That's where we'll have the most impact.
And also, which we talked about before, the show is like, so also makes you guys different. So where do you do your tutoring for the
Yeah,
kids?
we tutor at a neutral location, like a coffee
Okay.
shop or library that's convenient for everybody.
Okay.
Um, I think that it's actually a really effective space to learn because one, it's not like a school, like
Right.
Huntington. It's basically another school. They go to a learning center and with a
Right.
bunch of other it's just like a classroom, and they might not work best in the classroom. And working in home can be pretty distracting with a lot of
Oh
stuff
yeah.
nearby, and yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't work as well. But a neutral location, especially like a library, it's a little bit of a different setting, but it's still calm. They can get focused.
Yep.
Some students with ADHD, for example, or autism, more so ADHD, they actually thrive with stuff going on in the background.
Yeah.
So some extra background noise, at a coffee shop actually works better for them than a super silent
Oh,
spot in a library. So, we figure out what works for them.
well, that's awesome. And yeah, I know I love that. Keeps everybody safe, neutral place. No, I really, really like that. Um, so what about give me a success story?
Yeah. Um, the reason why I guess my mission or the way I see tutoring, having a big impact is one of my earliest students. He was, well, for one, he came in hating math. I think he had like a D in math. And when we first, I asked him, what are your thoughts on it? He's like, I absolutely hate it. Like, I can't focus. I can't really understand what's going on, and I hate math. After working with him for about 2, 3 months, his attitude during the lesson started changing. He started becoming a lot more confident, started being more himself. He wasn't as timid as before, which I thought was great. And a bit later, the mom told me like he was talking to his grandma, right? And the grandma asked, "What's your favorite class?" He's like, "Math." And now
Wow.
he's the student that helps his friends out in class, and just that confidence growing is just amazing. It's his whole personality was changing, and what's cool is um, these kids with that confidence growing in that subject, they end up doing better in other classes as well, just as a whole. So I love just seeing that change in the kids, the growth.
That's a great story. No, I love that. No, that is awesome. Yeah, getting somebody that feeling terrible about it now they turn into their favorite class.
Yeah, yeah, and
That,
that's the magic of this, man. It's really
yeah,
cool. It's really cool seeing these
that's it.
kids change.
It says a lot about you guys as tutors, is what it does. So, when it comes to math, here's a thing. What type of subjects do you teach?
Yeah, we
Math,
do right
English?
now. Math, reading, writing, SAT, ACT are our main ones, but from kindergarten all the way through college. Usually our tutors are split up between, let's say, math, for example, elementary and middle school, and then high school and college, because the subject or the level is totally different, the type of math,
Right.
and then the way you teach is a lot different. But our tutors also have experience in other classes, so if the parents want help with history, we have some tutors that help out with that as well, and that's on the website.
Cool.
Yeah.
No, I love it. So now, do you guys teach differently on different subjects? So is there like a different way you teach somebody math versus somebody writing?
Yeah, I mean, of course, and it really depends on um, the parents' needs. So if the kids has some foundational gaps in the class, then we'll focus on those gaps. If
Okay.
they just need help with current work, then we'll help them out with their schoolwork and getting ready for tests. If they need help with just getting better at or excelling in general, we'll change our approach based on that. But we really just adapt to what the kids and parents' goals are. And yeah, the way you teach will be different, but our tutors, make sure to adapt to that. Yeah.
No, that's awesome. No, I love that. No, this has been really good because there's a ton of need out there for kids because just they're struggling and not only are the kids a little ADD sometimes. I don't mean disrespectful, but there's just so many
Hmm.
distractions out there. You know what I mean?
There
It's
is,
hard
man.
hard to focus, and so yeah, that's really what it is. There's just so many distractions. It's hard sometimes for them to focus on. I need to take time to focus on math, get better at math. You know,
Me too, man.
so
Yeah,
awesome.
and it's not the fault of the teachers or anything. They have a classroom full of 30 students. They
Yep.
can't help every single one. So that's why there's a need for tutoring, and we help fill in those gaps.
No, I love that too. Yeah, it is. Yeah, the classes are packed sometimes, and it's just tough to focus on every kid. So you have a kid that needs a little extra help, then you guys can
Mhm.
they can get a hold of you guys. So, and then speaking of that, what's the best way to get a hold of you guys? And I'll have that in the
Yeah,
show notes. So,
yeah. The best way is you can call our number 208-391-3084 instead of do a consultation, or you can book your first lesson on our booking page on the website. It just says you click where it says book now, and there's an intake form. We get all the information. Um, then you can book that first lesson as soon as possible, either this week or next, and
perfect.
then we follow up and make sure things are going well. But
So
yeah, right there.
here here's one last question for you. So the kids get to the end of the school year. How is tutoring beneficial during the off time?
During the off time, during the summer,
Yeah.
they should keep tutoring over the summer.
No. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying is a lot of times I can just see them like getting really good at math or English or whatever, and then they take
Hmm.
3 months off. know,
The three
it's
months
like,
is crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, most people are gonna forget most of what they did, but overall they've improved on a lot of gaps throughout the year mostly. You
right.
know, so if they go into they're going tutoring sixth grade, going into seventh grade, and they were bad with multiplication. They and we've worked on multiplication, that fluency. Um, it's not gonna like totally go away, but they'll probably forget some topics from sixth grade. But we encourage tutoring over the summer too, because it's the summer slide. Like they're gonna 3 months off without any learning is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, cool, man. This has been awesome. I appreciate it, Maya. So, yeah, like I said, this is great. I think you have a great company here in the Valley, and I think the listeners will get a lot out of it. So, appreciate it. Until next time on Treasure Valley NA Quick Tips. Um, appreciate you. Thanks again, Maya.
Thank you. Thanks, Scott. Have a good one.